Welcome to Cryptid Monologues. Here we tell stories of the cryptid kind. We hope to fill your mind with thrilling, suspenseful entertainment. Please relax and enjoy. Thanks for joining. Overland Adventure. The morning sun peeked over the Cascade Mountains as four lifelong friends, Alex, Mia, Raj, and Taylor, gathered in Alex's garage. The group was buzzing with excitement as they prepared for their long-awaited overland trip to Manashtash Lake, a hidden gem nestled deep in the wilderness. Each had spent months fine-tuning their 4x4 vehicles for the journey. Alex's Jeep Wrangler was fitted with a roof rack loaded with camping gear, a spare tire mounted on the back, and heavy-duty winches. Mia's Toyota 4Runner boasted a reinforced suspension system and a snorkel for creek crossings. Raj's Land Rover Defender carried extra fuel tanks and recovery tracks, while Taylor's Jeep Gladiator was equipped with an onboard air compressor and a state-of-the-art navigation system. "Checklists, everyone," Alex said, holding a clipboard. They went through food, water, fuel, and emergency supplies. Mia double-checked the medical kit, Raj ensured the radios were working, and Taylor inspected the tire pressure. Finally, with everything packed and double-checked, the convoy rumbled to life and rolled out, the crisp air filled with the sound of roaring engines. Day 1. Into the wild. The first day's drive was a scenic route through dense pine forests and winding dirt trails. The group marveled at the breathtaking views as they ascended toward higher elevations. By afternoon, they reached their first campsite near a crystal-clear stream. After setting up their tents, the group gathered around a campfire that cast flickering shadows against the towering trees. Stories and laughter filled the crisp evening air as they roasted marshmallows, their laughter harmonizing with the gentle babble of the nearby stream. Raj pulled out his guitar, strumming familiar tunes that had everyone singing along. The smoky scent of burning wood mixed with the sweet aroma of melted marshmallows, creating an atmosphere of pure camaraderie. As the night deepened, they turned their gaze upward, marveling at the starlit sky unmarred by city lights. Taylor, poking at the fire with a stick, suddenly paused. "Did you hear that?" she asked, her voice low. The distant howl of wolves echoed through the forest. "Don't worry," Raj joked, his fingers still on the guitar strings. "They're just singing along." Yet, a subtle tension hung in the air as the group exchanged glances, silently acknowledging the untamed wilderness surrounding them. Day 2. The Hidden Trail. The second day began with a hearty breakfast before they tackled more challenging terrain. The trail narrowed, lined by steep cliffs and thick vegetation. Alex, leading the group, suddenly stopped. "Trail looks washed out up ahead," he said. They assessed the situation and decided to use Raj's recovery tracks to create a makeshift path. The task was tense, requiring careful maneuvering to avoid sliding off the edge. "Easy, easy," Mia coached Alex as his Jeep inched forward. When all vehicles made it across safely, the group cheered, the adrenaline still coursing through their veins. By late afternoon, they reached a meadow and decided to set up camp. However, as they unpacked, Taylor's radio crackled to life. "Storm coming," a ranger's voice warned. "Might hit your area tonight." They quickly secured their camp, double-checked their rain gear, and anchored the tents. The storm rolled in with fierce winds and torrential rain, but their preparations held strong. Huddled in their tents, they listened to the tempest outside. Day 3. The Unexpected Encounter. Morning brought clear skies, and the group pressed on. The trail led them through a narrow canyon, its towering walls echoing the sound of their engines. As they emerged into an open valley, Raj spotted something unusual. "Is that smoke?" he asked, pointing to a thin plume rising in the distance. They followed it cautiously and discovered an abandoned campsite. The fire was smoldering, but there was no sign of people. Oddly, several items, including a map and a journal, were left behind. Why would someone leave this? Mia wondered aloud, flipping through the journal. It contained cryptic notes about strange noises and sightings near Manashtash Lake. The discovery unsettled them, but they decided to continue. "We'll report it when we're back in range," Taylor said. Day 4, Manashtash Lake. The final leg of the journey was the most grueling. The trail was steep and rocky, with switchbacks that tested their vehicles and their nerves. By midday, they crested the last ridge and were rewarded with a stunning view of Manashtash Lake. Its shimmering waters reflected the surrounding peaks like a mirror. As they set up camp near the lake, the air felt eerily still, the only sound being the gentle lapping of water against the shore. That night, the group gathered around the fire, their earlier excitement replaced by a sense of quiet unease. Strange noises began to echo from the woods, branches snapping and leaves rustling, as though something large was moving just out of sight. "Probably just animals," Alex said, attempting to sound confident. However, the sudden snap of a twig nearby made everyone jump. Mia grabbed a flashlight and shone it into the trees. The beam caught a fleeting movement, but nothing definitive. Moments later, a low growl rumbled from the darkness. The group froze, their flashlights darting in every direction. Raj whispered, "It's too close. Let's make noise. Keep it at bay." They clanged pots and shouted, but the unsettling presence lingered. As the night wore on, the disturbances escalated. Rocks clattered near the campsite, and at one point, Alex thought he saw a shadow dart between the trees. "Everyone stay close," he said, his voice firm but hushed. They piled more wood onto the fire, its bright flames offering a tenuous sense of security. Later, Taylor on watch duty heard a faint, rhythmic tapping sound coming from the direction of the lake. Curious but cautious, she woke Raj, and the two crept closer to investigate. In the moonlight, they spotted faint footprints near the water, barefoot and human-like, but oddly large. "This just gets weirder," Raj murmured as they backed away to inform the group. By 3 a.m., the noises stopped, and the forest returned to an unsettling calm. Exhausted but relieved, the friends emerged from their tents to find their camp intact but their nerves frayed. "Whatever that was," Alex said, "we're lucky it didn't come closer." "Probably just animals," Alex said, though his voice betrayed unease. Suddenly, a low growl sounded, closer this time. The group scanned the nearby forest. A pair of glowing eyes stared back before vanishing into the trees. "Let's stick together," Mia said firmly. They kept the fire burning bright and took turns keeping watch until dawn. The journey home. In the morning, the lake was calm and peaceful, as if the night's events had been a bad dream. They packed up and began their descent, grateful for their teamwork and preparation. When they reached cell service, they stopped at a ranger station to report the abandoned campsite and their unsettling encounter at Manashtash Lake. The ranger listened attentively, frowning as they described the cryptic journal and the eerie noises. "That area has always been a bit strange," he admitted. "There's local folklore about unusual sightings around Manashtash Lake, but nothing concrete. Still, the footprints and noises you mentioned are concerning. We'll send a team to investigate the abandoned campsite and the lake area." Later that afternoon, the ranger and a small team set out for Manashtash Lake, following the directions provided by the group. As the friends prepared to leave, the ranger added, "If you remember anything else, don't hesitate to call. And next time, consider letting someone know your exact route before heading into such remote areas. It's lucky you're all experienced and prepared. Not everyone comes back with stories to tell." Back in town, the group gathered for a celebratory meal, recounting the adventure. Though exhausted, they felt closer than ever, bound by the challenges they'd faced together. "So," Alex said with a grin, raising his glass, "where to next?" The investigation. The trail was rugged, but they arrived just before sunset, finding the abandoned campsite exactly as described. The smoldering fire pit was cold now, and the scattered items, including the cryptic journal, remained undisturbed. The ranger examined the journal carefully, noting its entries about strange noises and sightings. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the team began hearing faint rustling sounds from the woods. Initially dismissing it as wildlife, they pressed on, searching the area near the lake. What they found deepened the mystery: a series of footprints near the water, large, barefoot, and irregular. "These don't look like any animal tracks I've ever seen," the ranger murmured, snapping photos for evidence. Nearby, they discovered scratches on a tree trunk, as though something clawed at it. As darkness settled, the noises grew louder and more deliberate. The team, equipped with flashlights and radios, stayed close together. At one point, a loud, guttural sound erupted from the woods, sending chills through the group. "We're not alone out here," one of the team members said quietly. Deciding not to risk staying overnight, the ranger marked the site and led the team back to the safety of their vehicles. "We'll need more resources to figure out what's going on here," he said. Back at the station, he filed a detailed report and recommended a thorough investigation into the strange occurrences around Manashtash Lake. 2 days later, the ranger returned with a larger team, including wildlife experts and additional park staff. They retraced their steps to the campsite, this time with more advanced equipment: thermal cameras, motion sensors, and drones. As they scanned the area, the thermal cameras picked up faint heat signatures moving through the trees. The shapes were too indistinct to identify, but moved with a speed and fluidity that unsettled the team. Closer to the lake, they discovered more evidence: a partially buried collection of bones, animal and otherwise, near the footprints from the earlier visit. Predator behavior? One of the wildlife experts speculated, though the arrangement of the bones seemed almost deliberate. As the investigation continued into the night, the strange noises resumed, louder and closer than before. One of the drones captured footage of a shadowy figure darting through the forest at incredible speed. "That's no bear," someone muttered as they reviewed the footage. The team decided to withdraw before midnight, leaving motion-triggered cameras and audio recorders behind. Over the next week, the devices captured a series of eerie events: low growls, heavy footfalls, and glimpses of large, humanoid figures moving through the shadows. Despite the evidence, nothing conclusive could be determined. The ranger's final report detailed the findings and recommended restricting access to the area until further studies could be conducted. Word of the events around Manashtash Lake spread quickly, drawing the interest of cryptozoologists, paranormal investigators, and curious adventurers. However, the forest kept its secrets, and the mystery of Manashtash Lake remained unsolved. For the ranger and his team, the experience left a lasting impression. "Whatever's out there," the ranger often said, "it's something we're not meant to understand, and maybe we're better off that way."